Hello and welcome to the DeHart House. My name is Alicia. You can find me on Instagram as ReadKnitRun and on Ravelry as AlittyKnitsToo. This is episode 29 of the DeHart House Podcast, and today is Sunday, February 4th of 2018, which means I have been doing this whole podcast thing for a year now, which is kind of exciting. So in the past year, if you go back and look at the episodes, if you haven't been watching along with me, there has been quite a few scenery changes, a growth in projects, like sort of graduating up to more difficult projects as I go, and it has been a really fun ride to share those experiences with you all. So thank you so much for watching and commenting and being so supportive. It's so wonderful, so thank you. So if you're a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. If you're a new viewer, thanks for stopping in. This is a podcast primarily about knitting, but it's just a general crafty podcast. And I'm excited to start in on the second year with you guys. So, yay! So let's start with announcements. So, announcements. The Cozy Couch Make-Along is a year-long blanket make-along for 2018. So, it's a make-along because you can use any craft you'd like to make a blanket. So, knit, crochet, sewing, specifically quilting. That's awesome. The only rules that I have are that you have to finish it this year, and it has to be an adult-sized blanket. Other than that, I don't care. Feel free to double dip, triple dip, enter in other make-alongs. Whips definitely count, so it does not have to be started and finished this year, just finished this year. So, excuse me. If you have had a project in hibernation, or you've been working on it slowly, it counts, you guys. It counts. So, so I started this make-along to help encourage myself, and hopefully you guys, to finish some of these blankets that we've started, and not let them languish. So I love making blankets and afghans. It's something I started out doing when I first, not when I first learned to crochet, but definitely as a young child and teenager. Blankets were the thing to make. Rectangles are easy, and so that's what I went with. And I still love doing it. It's really fun. So, once you finish your blanket at any time throughout the year, just take a picture of it on the couch, looking all cozy, in the Finished Objects thread in the DeHart House Podcast Ravelry group. So, you must be a member of the group to win. There will be a prize at the end of the year. Still to be determined, but it'll be a good one. So join the DeHart House Podcast group on Ravelry. Participate in our make-alongs and chatter threads and all those things. So in the chatter thread is where you can post questions, comments, progress pictures, things like that. And in the Finished Objects thread, you'll just post a picture of the blanket once you finished it. And you can enter this make-along as many times as you want. So if you finish 12 blankets this year, you can enter all 12 blankets into the make-along. As long as they're adult-sized blankets, baby blankets don't count, then you're fine. At the end of the year, I will draw randomly for winners out of the finished objects thread, and like I said, you must be a member of the group to win, so if I draw someone who's not a member, then I'll just redraw till I get a member. So make sure you join the group, you guys. Alright, so I'm going to put in a little video here that I took of my blanket that I have in the works, and just tell you guys about my progress on that one. So here's my worsted weight scrap blanket. I have it laid out on the floor because it makes it easier to see, actually, the progress. So I'm knitting this blanket. It's a mitered square pattern. I'm knitting this out of various acrylic worsted weight yarns, and my squares are 13 stitches by 13 stitches with an extra one in the middle. And we do this center double decrease. So if you look at my project page for this project, I have some notes on there about the stitch counts and the type of decrease and things like that. But I just wanted to show you guys this blanket because it's hard for me to hold it up on the podcast. So here is the whole thing so far. It is 20 squares wide on the long side, and I've completed 10 rows so far, which according to my original plan means I'm halfway. So yeah, I'm really excited. Plus I have those 2 extra squares up there in the corner, excuse me, starting my 11th row. So, and I put those on last night. So yeah, I'm over the halfway mark. I'm really excited about this project and about our make-along, and I really can't wait to see what you guys are working on for your cozy couch blankets and afghans and things. So yeah, so I've made little mini goals for myself to help me finish this blanket this year, and originally my goal was 4 squares a week, and now I'm going to up that to 5 squares a week because I realize 4 squares a week will put me just shy of finishing this year. I'd actually finish it in 2019. So I'm going to up that to 5 squares a week, which means I should finish 1 row each month. So either 5 squares a week or 1 row each month, and I'll have this thing finished by the end of 2018. So that's the goal. And then I would love to do more than that each week so I can just finish it sooner. Or if there happens to be a week where I'm too busy with work, family, or vacation, then I will have worked ahead and it'll be okay. So, excuse me, that's what's helping to keep me working on this thing, is do X number of squares each week, and I can just check it off in my little bullet journal and call it a week. So, and at the end of the year, call it a blanket. Yeah, it's been really fun to work on, so I'm having fun with that. I hope you guys are too. I'm excited to see what y'all are working on, whether it's also a mitered square blanket or a different pattern. I know there are lots and lots of blanket patterns out there, and I just want to throw this out there in case anyone is thinking this. Your blanket does not have to be a scrap blanket in order to enter the make along. If you are knitting a blanket out of just one color, I don't care if you're following a pattern. It's a colorwork blanket, it's a cabled blanket, it's a quilt. I mean, there are no rules on the type of blanket. It just has to be adult size. That's it. That if you put this blanket on an adult, it would cover them head to toe. That's the only thing. That's it. Beyond that, go nuts with your creativity. And I'm just, like I said, I want to see what you guys are working on, because I've been staring at this thing for a year. And I'm kind of sick of it. So I want to see what you're working on. Anyway, so Cozy Couch Make Along, feel free to join in at any time throughout the year. Post in the chatter thread throughout the year, only in the finished objects thread when you finish your blanket. Cool. So that wraps up announcements. So let's talk about shop update. So I have a couple of shops. I have one on Etsy called DeHart House Creations, where I sell my handmade bags and stitch markers and hand-dyed yarn. So check it out if you haven't already. And I also have DeHart House Creations on Ravelry. And yeah, I have a new pattern up in the shop on Ravelry. And most of my patterns are free. I think only one of them is a paid for pattern so far. So I really want to have a nice collection of free patterns. So I just like sharing things. So I added another free pattern to the shop this morning. And the pattern is for my Syren Socks. Yeah, so I finally finished editing the pattern and adding a picture and got that posted today. Thank you so much to my test knitters who helped give me feedback. There is a pill there. I'm going to rip off the sock. Yeah, so it's a colorwork sock with 2 colors. It is stranded colorwork. I have the instructions for the color work written up as a chart, and I also have it written as do many of this color, for the row. So yeah, and it's knit cuff down. I have a heel flap and gusset here, and then just my standard toe. So everything is included in the pattern, including how to knit the heel and the gusset and the toe. As well as the color work. Pretty much, yeah, everything is in stockinette stitch. I did, that is really hard to see with this dark navy blue, but I have the Eye of Partridge heel. Oh, that's a little better. So the heel is a little bit textured, which I thought was really nice to go with this pattern, since the foot is so plain, but I really like that the tree stands out on this. What else did I want to say? Oh yeah, so I knit a lot of socks and I enjoy knitting socks, and my favorite heel pattern is the Fish Lips Kiss heel, which is not one of my patterns, and it costs $1. And I can't just write that into my pattern. And I find it also a little annoying to say, now go buy the Fish Lips Kiss heel pattern to finish knitting my sock. So I decided to go heel flap and gusset so that I could actually write the directions in the pattern. However, let me set one of these down. I purposefully left the color work on the leg and then down here before you start your toe, so that if you wanted to use a different heel pattern, you could, and it would not interrupt this at all. So if you want to use the Fish Lips Kiss heel pattern or a short row heel or something completely different, go for it, because it's not going to interfere with the color work at all. All right, you do the color work for the leg, and then I give directions on how to start the heel flap and gusset, and then that's where you just insert your own, and then knit the foot the length you need it, start the color work here, and then do whatever toe you like. I wrote in directions for a standard toe, but like I said, you can use anyone you want. So I like being able to make a sock that fits. I think that's really important. And if you have found a heel pattern that you know you like to knit and you know fits well, then I wanted to write a pattern where you could still incorporate that yourself. And there are so many good patterns out there. So you can knit this whole pattern start to finish just as I've written it without having to reference anything else. Or you can mix and match other heels and toes in here. So I just wanted to point that out in case you were looking at these going, oh, heel flap and gusset, not for me. Change it. It's totally fine. All right? Totally fine. And it's free. I posted it for free. So, go nuts, guys. I'm excited, and I'm really glad I finally got that posted. So, it has been a while. That has been one of my languishing projects to do, is wrap up that pattern writing and post it for you guys. So, one more thing to check off the list. So that's it for this week, as far as actual finished things that are up in the shop for you. I always have things in the works, but I like to save them to talk about once I've actually finished them, because I don't like make promises. I don't like making promises and then not keeping them, so yes. All right, so let's get into the knitting, shall we? Let's talk about finished objects. So, yeah, I'm saying that word a lot. Finished objects, I have 2 of them. Yeah, just 2 of them. I have a small one and a large one. So I'll talk about the small one first. I actually cast this on and finished it this week. And I finished it right before hitting record for this podcast, and it's a hat. Because hats are quick and really fun and make awesome gifts. So this is, I'm calling this 11th Place and Jacquard. So this will be one of my projects on Ravelry. So feel free to add me as a friend on Ravelry. Again, I'm AlittyKnitsToo. Or just hop in and look at my project pages if you'd like. I do add notes and things to the project page. So yeah, this is the 11th Place hat pattern, which I designed and costs $1 on Ravelry. It is a cabled hat and ribbing and a fluffy pom-pom. All right, so 11th Place hat is the pattern. The yarn is from Knit Picks. I love Knit Picks. Can I just say how affordable Knit Picks is? And they do have monthly sales. They rotate things out. So if you're not checking out Knit Picks on at least a monthly basis, you should. There are some really neat finds. Like, for example, this yarn is City Tweed DK, and let's see if I can do that. Yeah, and the color is Jacquard. Nope, it's not gonna focus. It's not gonna focus if I do that. The color is Jacquard. It's DK weight, and they come in 50-gram balls. It's a mix of merino wool, alpaca, and tweed. And I'm telling you guys, using this yarn, this is the first time I've knit with alpaca. And I thought I was allergic. And after working with this, I don't think I am, because I'm pretty sure I would have broke out. So that's good to know. But anyway, just because it's commercial yarn doesn't mean it still can't be luxurious. I mean, I think this is just super nice. Yeah, so it's like a rich teal blue color, the jacquard, and I think it just looks really stunning. We went with black for the pom-pom. So my future mother-in-law requested a hat to give to her sister, and this is the color she asked for. And then of course after knitting it, I was like, which pom-pom do you want? And I paired it up with like every pom-pom that I own. So and she decided on black, and I think it's a really nice choice. I ordered these pom-poms on Amazon. Love Amazon. They are of the snap variety, so I sewed on the snap bottom onto the top of the hat, and so she can remove this when she washes the hat, which I think is nice, or she's feeling like just not having a pom-pom that day. Yeah. So, yeah, I cast this on, I think last Sunday. Honestly, it took me a week to knit this. Of course, it wasn't the only thing I knit this week, so yep. I like it. It's fun. Oh yes, and I used US size 4 needles and US size 6 needles. So 4 for the ribbing, 6 for the body. On 16-inch circulars. And then of course I had to switch to DPNs for the top, and yep. It's a fun little project. So, okay. My other finished object is humongous, and I'm super excited about it because it is such a big project, and anytime I finish a big project, I want to have like a big party. So guys, will you have a party with me? Whatever. I finished a sweater. I finished Michael's sweater. Yes. It's finished. No needles, no ends. I wove in all the ends. And it is a finished garment. Yeah. Both sleeves are done. This is so great. The only thing I have to do is take pictures. All right. So the pattern is the Flax by Tin Can Knits, which is a free pattern on Ravelry. The Flax is a worsted weight pattern. They also have the Flax Light, which is a fingering weight version of the same pattern. But I did the Flax with worsted weight. So there's this garter ridge panel down the arm. There's my notes. The yarn is DeHart acrylic worsted weight yarn from Walmart, and I don't care. The color is soft navy, and I use US size 5 needles for this project, which is a 3.75 millimeter. I think the pattern calls for 7s, but when I swatched, I had to go down a couple needle sizes, so yeah. I knit the Harvest cardigan for myself, also out of DeHart yarn, but a different color. And I swatched for that project. This project called for the same gauge, and so the Harvest cardigan was basically a swatch for this guy, so I just stuck with it. I did have to modify the sleeves a little bit because they were a little too big in diameter around the arms, so I did have to do some ripping back and change the decreases, but other than that, the pattern was great. Really easy to follow, good pictures and explanations in the pattern, so If you are new to sweater knitting, this is a great pattern to follow. And it's free, which is also a really nice thing. You're already having to buy a lot of yarn for your project, so you can save a few dollars on the pattern. Yes, I am so excited that this is finished. And I'm really excited to start the next one. So the next sweater I make, I want to make for my father, so I need to get his measurements so that I can start that next project. Yay. Yeah. Oh, it looks so good. Yeah. I think this is going to be really nice for, obviously for winter weather. Oh, so good. By the way, I forgot to tell you guys at the beginning of the episode, I wanted to tell you what I'm wearing is something I finished, I think last week. This is my ambrosia boomerang shawl, and I still have not woven in the ends. I should probably do that today. Yeah, I don't know. But I love this thing. I love how long and skinny this is. So anyway. Okay, so that wraps up finished objects. Just a sweater and a hat, you guys. That's it. Oh, so much knitting, and I love it. Love it so much. Yeah, so that's that. I'll have to empty out this bag. So, works in progress. I have a couple things in progress. First of all, I need a sock blocker because I have a hoe. I have a half object. I finished a sock and I've started the second one. So, yeah. Oh, and I took the stitch marker off. Oh well, that's okay. And I still need to weave in the ends, but yeah, so this is a sock for Michael. This is, what am I calling this? Oh yeah, Green Arrow socks. I'm just doing a vanilla sock pattern, which is stockinette stitching. So I'm knitting this toe up, increased to 64 stitches because this yarn is a little thicker than what I usually work with, so I went down a few stitches. Fish lips kiss heel, like I mentioned before. 1x1 ribbing for 20 rounds. The main color is Knit Picks Hawthorne Fingering in the Forest Park colorway, and the contrasting color is Cloudborn Superwash Merino Sock Twist in the Charcoal Heather colorway. So the gray of the Cloudborn fibers matches the gray in the Knit Picks Hawthorne, and it's just, it looks really cool. So yeah, and I have a Green Arrow stitch marker or progress keeper that I'm using on the project, and I just think they look really cool. So I have the second one started. I'm still on the toe. Whatever. I started it though. So, yep, I do a Turkish cast on for the toe, and it just looks super cool and cute and tiny. Yeah, so I'm knitting these on US size 1 needles, which is a 2.25 millimeter needle. These are my Chow-Goos, which are my favorite. I have not tried many brands. I tried Chow-Goo, and I really love the cables. It actually has a metal cord running through here, and it's covered in plastic or whatever. And I just find them really nice and easy to work with. I am knitting these magic loop style. So one big long needle. I think this is a 40-inch cable. Might be a little excessive, but I like it. So yeah, I have a ways to go to finish the second sock. I'm hoping to finish it this month. And I really want to cast on a pair of socks for my mom and my dad, because I have not knit them socks yet. So, and I wouldn't mind another pair, and whatever, so many socks. All right, so I have one finished, one to go. That's exciting. This is living in my Star Wars bag. This is one of my DeHart House Creations bags in the sock size. Yeah, my next work in progress is actually a shawl, and I think I told you guys I was going to cast this on. I cast on another boomerang shawl. So I'm wearing a boomerang, and I cast on another boomerang, and the thing is just so darn cute. I love that when you're working on it, it looks like a mini shawl. So, this yarn is Lorna's Laces, and the colorway is watercolor, and it's kind of like a rainbow colorway. Very nice and muted neutral rainbow, if you will. So I think this is nice. I'm making this for my mom. Here's the yarn in the ball. So we had the whole family over for dinner, and I had Mom come in the craft room, and I already have this wound up. And I asked her what she thought of it, and told her that I wanted to make her a shawl, and she agreed that this would be a good color. So yep, started that. Didn't get very far, but that's okay. I have lots of time. I'm also knitting these on Chow Goose. These are US size 5, I believe. Yes, US size 5, which is a 3.75 millimeter. I'm keeping my tension really nice and loose, and makes this nice and stretchy. Yeah, I need to start a project page for that on Ravelry. Here's the tag for the yarn. So, Lorna's Laces. I got this at our local yarn shop before it shut down. I know. Yep, so the color is watercolor. There's the price. So it's a superwash merino and nylon blend. 80/20. Yep, 430 yards. It's soft. I like it. I'm having fun. And this is living in another one of my bags. This is my sock size bag, and the new design with the leather vinyl stuff. And I put snaps on it, and it's really fun. And it has pocket. I've been keeping, this is kind of nice, because then it doesn't get tangled in the yarn. I've been keeping the yarn label out in the pocket. So I've been finding that kind of handy. Here's another one of my bags. This is where this was the one I was using for the hat I just finished, and so I've got the yarn and the cable needle and stuff all out in the pocket. I've been finding that kind of handy. So, and it helps me remember what is in that bag. Oh yeah, the city tweed. Anyway, yeah, so that's, and the blanket. That's it for works in progress. I've been trying to keep the number of whips that I have going to be a low number, like under 5, and I've been doing really well so far. It means that I'm actually finishing things, which is good. It makes me feel really good. So, that's it for knitting. So thank you for watching. Happy knitting, and I'll see you next time.